My name is Aня Beker. I am a Dutch woman who has been living in Ireland for 26 years, and I'm a harp player. I'm a musician by trade. I am a mother of one daughter. I have a 26-year-old, and my dream has been since a lecture that I heard in university to become the first woman in history to carry a harp from Ireland to Jerusalem. The story is that in the Middle Ages there was a group of men that carried their harps from Ireland and Wales on the Crusades to Jerusalem. And when I heard this, I went like, oh, that is amazing. Were there any women there? And the answer was no women. And I thought, I want to be that woman. So first the obsession was, how do you carry a harp? And once I figured that out, I went, how long can I carry a harp? And I walked in 2010 from Ireland to Santiago de Compostela in northwestern Spain to see could I do it. And then I did. I arrived there after 3 months and 3 weeks, and I thought, that's great. Can I go to Rome? Now, it takes 8 years, but 8 years later I set off to go and walk to Rome as well. It takes me 5 months and a week, and I crossed the Alps in the process as well. I'm very afraid of heights. And then there is the third pilgrimage, the big pilgrimage. Santiago de Compostela is about courage, about getting to know yourself, your place in the world. The pilgrimage to Rome is about understanding the community, how the church works in the Western world. And then the road to Jerusalem is the road of the soul. Not everybody makes it to the end, but some do. And we all dream of doing the impossible. Well, I do anyway. So last year, on the 2nd of April, I set out to go and walk to Jerusalem. Now, for the question, what has been the biggest obstacle? I think that the biggest obstacles are being uncomfortable. It's always an obstacle. I don't get to sleep in my own bed. I have been sleeping in different beds for 315 days today, not having your friends around you, having nothing around you that is familiar. The most familiar thing for me is the harp and my walking stick. Those are the clothes that I wear. They're the most familiar things. The things that I know for sure, the likes I have, the dislikes I have. Of course, there are physical obstacles as well. There are limits. Because I carry a harp, I have a limit of how far I can walk. I cannot walk anything further than 33 kilometers. If I go over it, I cannot walk for days. Obstacle like winter, when the temperatures are too low. Summer, when the temperatures are too high. So in theory, everything can be an obstacle. And the question is how flexible can we be? And how much can we adapt to accommodate the world as it is, as it comes to us, and as we walk through it. And as we learn to be more flexible, the obstacles become smaller. Of course, I still cannot swim over a big river. Neither could the Romans. You know, they got stuck on the south side of the Rhine and of the Danube. But we can build bridges. We can learn the languages of the countries that we walk through. I can smile at everybody who comes towards me. I try and do the Irish thing and say hello to everybody. And try and make it easy for ourselves to appreciate the small things. As for the third question, what do you need to do a journey like this? One is you have to have the dream. You have to really have the dream and be able to see yourself at the end of the journey. I know I can do this. It's about having the longest breath, you know, the world is collapsing around me. When I left Ireland, there was no problem with visas. I could travel through every country. There were no earthquakes. The war in Syria was moving further north. Now I'm looking at a big earthquake area and a collapse in economy. No government in Lebanon for 2 years. It doesn't look good. So you could say that the second thing that we need is faith. I have to believe that something bigger than me wants me to succeed. It's not everybody who can do this journey. Not everybody will finish it. But in order to start, you need to already believe that, yes, you are that person who will. There's also visa restrictions. I can only stay for 90 days in Turkey. You know, how do you do that? Do you accept that they're going to give you a fine, or are you going to leave the country, come back? But there is a process. So you take on that process and you try and go with that. So the third ability, and that was already part really of the second question as well, is to be flexible. How flexible can you be? Can you be outside of your comfort zone? Can you accept that it's not going to be the way you want? The bed is not going to be as soft or as hard as you want it to be. The sun is not going to come out when you need it. It might rain tomorrow. So flexibility is the third thing that you have, that you really, really, really need. And I think, personally, I think it is important to come with something, to not just be there for your desire for knowledge. Like I've a great love for history, for the different cultures. I always wondered how culture changed, and I'm learning all those things. I'm learning new languages. I'm meeting new people every day. But what is it that I can bring to all those places? What is it that I can give so that the world can be a better place? Because I also see a lot of clashes and a lot of difficult situations and people that do not agree. And we cannot just witness, you know, that I am here to witness, to see what it's like, that the old road is there or not there, that the sun comes up in the east, it actually really does, and sets in the west, that cultures change from one side of the border to the other side of the border. What can I give back? And in my case, I carry a heavy pack with a harp. So I think a gift of any kind, art, a knowledge, having something to return into the process so that others will remember and know that when another pilgrim comes through, it's okay.